Illinois Stories is brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by the support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to Illinois Stories. I'm Mark McDonald at Friends Creek Conservation Area near Decatur in Macon County. What would get students up at the crack of dawn to come out here and do field work? They might be wondering, like you might be wondering, whether feeding birds in the backyard is actually good for the birds. That's what this study is all about. Travis Wilcoxon, it's bright and early in the morning at Friends Creek Conservation Area.
Yes.
And your group from Millikin has been studying birds out here for, what, fourth year now? This is the fourth year.
Yes.
And what you try to do is you find these sites where you know that the bird activity is good, for the species that you're really kind of looking for. You come out here earlier and you put up nets, and then you cross your fingers and hope that the birds respond.
Yes, most definitely. You know, there's these nets are called mist nets and designed to be almost invisible as if they're mist. And you know, birds have great vision, but if you can hide a net sort of in their habitat and they're flying full speed and the light is low, they don't really know what's coming, and they hit these nets and land in them unharmed, and we can extract them and get some great data from them.
Okay, and that's what this story is all about. You're going to take us through the process of capturing the birds, taking them out of the net, then taking them to the place where you can observe them, take notes, band them, and then in the end release them again. And some of your students here, they're all ready to show us what's going on
yes,
here.
Yes, indeed. We have full nets as it is. So.
First, let's talk about what this young man's doing. What's he found here?
All right, so we have a female northern cardinal. So this is actually the state bird of Illinois for our first bird. And Spencer's just going to try to extract her here from the mist net. Basically, it looks a lot more torturous than it is. The idea here is that he's going to try to take her out without getting tagged by that sharp bill of hers.
Oh, they're strong too, aren't they? I mean, when they poke you, they hit you pretty good, don't they?
And so basically you want to concentrate on trying to remove the net. A lot of times their head goes through one of the loops, but if their head went through, it can come out the other side, almost like taking off a shirt. The biggest thing is that the feet, right? So they want to grab. So freeing the feet is key. Once the feet are free, then the net usually comes off fairly easily after that point. And
now, Spencer's been doing this a while. He knows how to not damage the bird, and this one looks like this one is pretty tricky. This one's got in there pretty tight, doesn't it?
Yeah. For his first one here on camera, he's going to have to work for this one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the pressure is on. But she's actually, I'm sure she's traumatized, but she doesn't look like she's having too bad of a time.
No, she's not too bad, but there you go. All right, and then we transport them in these cotton bags. It's just, you know, they can breathe fine in them, and that way they sort of calm down a little bit inside the bag. They're not exposed to.
She's a lovely specimen.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful bird. And the funny thing is, you know, with cardinals, the males get all the glory being all red.
Yeah, but, that's right.
When we go to band her, you'll see she has some beautiful pink plumage underneath her wings and lots of other marks that are really, really pretty. So
let's move down the way. We've got another of your students, a young lady here, is ready to take another. This is a different species, isn't it?
Oh yes. Now this is a bird that wouldn't use a feeder. This is a migrant. This is a Swainson's thrush.
This one looks a little less complicated to remove.
Yeah, sometimes they can be deceiving though. But this was in a bottom tray, so sometimes that's a little bit more difficult to remove them.
A bottom tray means part of the net that's closer to the ground?
Because sometimes they can flop around the grass and it gets the net flipped around a little bit.
Would this bird normally be caught closer to the ground?
Yes, yes, we consistently catch these birds in the lower part of the net. They do tend to stay in the understory of the vegetation, and they're fairly secretive. So, you know, they sneak around with quick little jolts from one place to the other. They don't spend a lot of time up high singing like, say, the cardinal would. Boy,
it takes a lot of patience to free these little critters, doesn't it?
And the skill with which the students are removing them today sort of is a testament to how many hours they've spent.
You know, I'm sure that's true because you have to have done this a great number of times to be able to learn how they get tangled up in that net.
And no two birds are in the net the exact same way. You know, it's a little bit like working a puzzle. And
these tiny little claws that they have. My goodness. Well, look at that. Now she's biting her.
Yes, they do have some defense.
Oh man. Okay, well, I think we're Are we there yet?
So for this bird, for example,
Just about, huh?
because this is not, a feeder bird, this is a bird that we will certainly band and record some basic data for, but it'll get a little bit different treatment than, say, the cardinal will.
Okay, very good. And it looks like Spencer's working on another one. Let's move up the way here.
Spencer has a field sparrow.
A field sparrow. Okay,
Yes.
nothing rare about this bird, right?
No, and this habitat is perfect for them. Nice and grassy, and there's a field right over there.
Yeah.
But they have a really neat call. So when they're singing, which of course you're not going to get them singing in the net, they do sound a little bit like the sort of the classic movie time bomb about ready to go off.
Okay, well, Spencer's going to be working on this
Yes.
one for a while. So let's go over to, it looks like we have a woodpecker over here
Yes,
too.
we do.
And let's move in this direction. Can we
I need
hand
a
this
bag for
one
this
off
one.
to somebody?
There you go.
That's a gorgeous bird. And of course, you can't tell yet whether it's in good health, but you will find out today, won't you, when
Yes,
you take
indeed.
a blood check and,
Yep.
and do all that? Okay. Then
Is
she
this-
bags it, so, and there's plenty of room in there for
Yes.
there's nothing in the bag. The bird could hurt itself or anything like
Nope,
that.
it's nice and soft.
They do flail around though, because
do.
I'm sure they're alarmed.
And
They
you
don't.
can see the bags are stained, and they
Yeah,
make
sure.
plenty of a mess in there despite multiple washes.
Okay, let's drop those off and see if we can take a better look at this woodpecker
I'm not
here.
sure if Sarah's tall enough to
There's-
get this one out, but
Well,
Yeah,
we
it's
may
on
not
the
see the whole process because he's really
Careful.
wound up in there, but
yeah,
we might be able to get a better look at him. What kind of woodpecker are we looking at here?
A downy woodpecker.
it's a male downy woodpecker. Yes, indeed. So,
And you know that how? How do you know that's a male downy woodpecker?
well, the males only have that red patch on the back of their head. So that's a trait that
okay.
only the males have. The females don't have it. And there's only one other woodpecker that looks anything like that woodpecker really around here, and it's called the hairy, and it's almost twice as big. So this is our. Yeah, these are extra tricky too when they get stuck near a trammel like that. Those thicker lines. So.
Dr. David Horn, we've talked about the what, but we haven't discussed the why yet. We see you and the students catching these birds in these nets. What are you trying to find out? Why are we doing it?
Well, Mark, wild bird feeding is a hobby in which nearly 53 million Americans over the age of 16 participate.
Yeah, I do it myself.
Yeah, we spend $5 billion a year on bird feeders and bird food, bird houses, and bird baths. And one of the things that we found previously at Millikin University is that one of the reasons that people feed birds is because they want to help the birds. But no one has asked the question, to the extent that our study is looking at, how does bird feeding help
And
wild
maybe
birds?
it doesn't at all.
That's
maybe
right.
it really is a harm to them because it interferes with their natural feeding cycle.
And so in spring of 2011, when we embarked in this study, we did not know the answer to that question of does bird feeding help wild birds? And so the capturing of birds in mist nets and the work that the students are doing, taking blood samples of birds, is really beginning to ask that question. Does bird feeding help birds? Does it increase their antioxidant levels? Does it lower their stress levels? How does it impact feather growth? How does bird feeding influence survival and recruitment of the next generation into the population? Those are the questions that since 2011 we have been answering.
Okay, and as we look at some of your students now, what they're doing is some of the birds that have been caught this morning, they're doing the very testing that you're talking about. They're measuring, taking blood tests, all those kinds of things. They're going to band each of these birds and then release them again. So, in answer to some of your questions, what have you found since 2011?
Well, what we have found is that in general, birds that have access to supplemental food have some measures of improved health. Some of the measures that we have seen improved include increased antioxidant levels, decreased levels of stress in birds that have access to supplemental food, and increased amounts of feather growth. In addition, we have found that some measures of body condition, some measures of, for example, fat reserves, are also increased in birds that have access to supplemental food. Also, we found after 2 years of continuous feeding that we had more recaptures from 1 year to the next at sites where birds had access to supplemental food compared to sites where birds did not have access to supplemental food.
So what you're not going to do is you're not going to put a big hole in everybody's feel good about themselves for feeding the birds. It's not necessarily a bad thing, and you don't know for sure whether it's a good thing either yet, but it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, I think after the 4 years of this study, if someone said, does bird feeding help birds, we certainly have evidence that yes, it does. And so for people who want to feed birds, they can continue to feed birds, and they can rest assured that at least in some measures, their health is improving.
Yeah, well, terrific. You know, we're going to talk more about this study, but for right now, I want to go to some of your students here. And these are two very accomplished students. They've both had been recognized for their work.
You know, one of the wonderful things about working on a large-scale study like this one is it has afforded students opportunities to work on projects that are just as unique as the project that we're working on. So for example, they might want to study how bird feeding might influence disease, or they might just want to look at some basic questions like how supplemental feeding might influence the degree of blue that an indigo bunting has. And so really what this large-scale project has allowed us to do is explore other questions that our students are interested in.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah Plant, when you started college, what, 4 years ago? Did you think that you'd be handling birds in the morning and doing all this
No, not
stuff?
at all. Not at all.
You're a biology major.
Yes,
and
I am.
you're a senior. And you've been on this project for a while, haven't you? Is it fun?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Fieldwork is my favorite part of it, coming out in the morning and catching the birds, getting to actually do stuff with them. You know, it's fun.
And you're from Pana. Yeah. Now, this specimen that you are holding right now, this is the one we had difficulty getting out of the net a little earlier, isn't it?
Yes,
this downy
we did.
woodpecker. He seems to have done okay.
Yep, he's good.
Now, what in the process have you yet to do with him?
I just have to take his blood now.
Okay, so he's already been weighed and
Yes.
banded.
He's been weighed and banded, and we've done our series of body measurements.
Oh, okay, okay. So you're going to take a little sample of blood, which you will, again, when you get back to the lab, you'll diagnose that, I guess, or, and then you'll let him go.
Yep.
Okay.
So first I just gotta
Oh, I
spread
see.
these feathers.
That's where you take the blood, huh?
Yep, this little
Okay.
vein.
Oh, interesting. I've never seen this before. Okay, is that a little antiseptic, or what is it?
This is water, just to
Oh.
remove the feathers to get it out of the way so that there's
Oh, look at
no
that.
contamination. And then we just take a little needle. Hang on, bud.
Okay, little pinprick. And then
We just take a capillary tube.
that's a capillary tube, okay. And it pulls it right in,
Yep.
and the bird doesn't seem to mind a bit.
No, not really.
How do you know when you have enough?
It's usually whenever they stop bleeding. But depending on the size of the bird, we usually do only one or two. Like for him,
Oh, I see. You're
we
gonna
can
do two, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
And is more blood better? I mean, does that give you a better ability to test it?
It gives us a bigger sample size of it, so then we could do more things with it. Other than just the one test, we can do bacterial killing assays and antioxidant capacities and things like that. So that one will be used for a blood smear, but now he's done.
Okay, now he's done. And now when you say you release him, that just means let him fly away?
Yep.
Oh, let's see that. Let's see that. What a handsome animal.
Come on, bud.
Well, he didn't go far. He's going to stay right in that tree right there. He's going to watch us work on his friends. Okay, let's start this process from the very beginning.
All
Okay.
right.
Do you have a bird that you're gonna? Let's say you just pulled this bird out of the net and you're just gonna start on him.
Okay.
In the meantime,
Okay.
look at Spencer's specimen. Isn't this lovely? Look at this beautiful creature. What do we have here?
So
Is that warbler that we
just
saw?
a yellow American gold.
This is American goldfinch.
American goldfinch. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Look at
Familiar to lots of people.
Yeah, a lot of people
As
feed those. Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, Spencer, we'll get back to you in a minute here. We're going to see what Sarah has for us. Now, what are you doing first, Sarah?
I am weighing the bird. So we have this.
There's one bird in the bag, and you know which bird it is.
Yes.
Okay, so and you know what the bag
63.
weighs, so now you know what the
Yes.
bird weighs, huh?
Yep.
Okay. What was that measurement, by the way?
Well, for all of it, it was 63.
Okay.
It was 63, and then the bag weighs 26. So then we just
All right.
do that now. Then we'll take the bird out.
Oh, listen to him. He's not happy. Do they ever bite you?
Yeah, he's biting me right now.
He's biting you right now. Little devil. Was he? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, look at that. He
bite.
is biting you. Now, what do we? He's got a big beak too.
Yes.
When he bites, he really bites.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not bleeding. Okay, what do we have here, Sarah?
We have a. Stop.
Oh, he doesn't like you.
This is a red-breasted rose-breasted grosbeak.
Rose-breasted
Yes.
grosbeak.
See the rose
Okay.
on its neck. Stop.
Huh. Okay. Oh my goodness, look at him.
Okay.
Okay, what's step one?
We measure a series of body parts. First, we'll just do the wing calipers here. So this is 93.5.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do the tail. $73.8.
On a windy day, you'd have a heck of a time out here, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Stuff blowing all over the place.
Yes, we have to chase our papers often.
I'll bet you do.
This
you
is
can't-
the
okay.
tarsus,
Uh-huh.
so 18.1.
You can't lose this paper. If you lose this paper, it's like you lost the birds.
Head breadth,
Right behind the eyes.
18.7.
And what was that measurement?
18.7.
Okay.
And then we do the head length.
He doesn't like that one much, probably.
It's 38.2.
That is a beautiful bird.
And then we'll do the column, which is their beak. It's 13.1. All right. Now we blow on their stomach area to check for the fat score.
The fat score. Does this bird have a fat score? That's fascinating, the way those feathers separate like that.
Okay.
How is he?
That would be a 1.
A 1. Okay.
Okay, and then we have the band here.
Now, can we get a good look at that band before you put it on? This is a very specific band, isn't it? I mean, this is a band only to this particular bird.
Yes.
And it has this bird is numbered, and there's a central national database, or actually international database, that would tell anybody else who bands birds that this particular bird is Millikin's bird. Okay.
So write this down here. Okay. And then we have
Goes on
these
its leg.
pliers.
Goes on its leg.
Yep. It just goes on the leg, right around the tarsus. Hang on.
Okay, he'll never even know it's there. It's so light.
Nope, he's just got a new bracelet.
New bracelet. Okay, maybe he'll attract a lady friend with that.
Okay.
And then you would, take blood samples and let him go?
Yes, we would.
Beautiful bird. Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Spencer Hudson, what do you have here for us?
Here I have a common yellowthroat, otherwise known as the Zorro bird.
No, wait a minute, common yellowthroat?
Yes.
Okay.
And it has this patch on its face here, this black patch, as you can see it. It's called the nickname, rather, the Zorro bird.
Zero bird.
Zorro, as in the
Oh,
masked
Zorro.
fighter.
Okay, got
Yes.
it, got it.
And so you won't see this among the females, and this is the way you can distinguish between the two sexes. And the males have this black patch, and it's due to this sexual selection in that they acquire these things called secondary sexual characteristics, and they use these for courtship or mate attracting.
The ladies love that.
The ladies love
Yeah,
it, believe
yeah.
it or not. I don't have one, but
Yeah,
you know.
well, you know, maybe someday.
Yeah, yes, maybe someday if I'm lucky.
Well, he is a handsome little devil, isn't he?
Sure, sure.
And he's a warbler, is that right?
Yes, he is.
Oh, man.
And among the warblers, he has longer legs, which helps him thrive in the marshlands, and he can sort of perch on these reed-like areas.
And so we caught him. This actually, we have to admit, this warbler has been caught by you all several times.
Yeah, yeah.
Twice in one day. Today,
He's
huh?
a personal favorite of ours. He's we've gotten well acquainted.
I think you have your nets right in the middle of his habitat because
Yeah.
he just seems to keep getting caught in them. Okay, now this guy was caught sometime earlier and banded.
Yes.
And then he flew into your nets again twice today.
Yes.
So, and that's how you know, because he's already got your band on it.
Yeah.
Can you hold him so we can see his whole body just a
Sure
little
can.
bit better?
You just have to bear with me
Because
here.
he's so colorful.
Sure. And so what I'm going to show you is a photographer's grip. So I suppose just to get a better picture of his
A photographer's
cover
grip.
feathers.
Ah, okay, yes. Okay, yeah, oh, he's lovely. What a cute little thing. Now, he's full grown, isn't he?
Yes, he
He's
is.
full size. That's just lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're talking about his colors and how colorful he is. He's got that black Zorro cap and he's got the bright gold. But you're interested in colors for another reason, because you were recognized for a study that you did on the indigo bunting, right?
Correct.
Which we don't have any today. But that's a whole different kind of, that bird's in a whole different situation, isn't it, than this one?
Sure. So the plumage coloration is derived two major ways. For this bird in particular, it's derived from pigments. So you have your carotenoid and melanin-based pigments. The carotenoids are responsible for your yellows, oranges, reds. And you also have melanins, which are responsible for the darker colors, such as the blacks and browns mainly, maybe dark grays. And so what you see here is a combination of both the melanin carotenoid-based pigments, and he has the yellow carotenoids and black patch, which is derived from the melanins. So what sets this apart from my study is that this is pigment-based derived coloration, and I focused on structurally based plumage coloration in the indigo buntings, which is responsible for the blues, greens, and violets that you see, all responsible for the UV and blue color regions in the color spectrum. And so this is derived from, or it's likened to the effect of why the sky's blue or the ocean's blue, and it's called the Tyndall effect. It has to deal with coherent light scattering of the particles, and in this case, the microbarbules in the feather structure.
Now, I'm sure a lot of our audience feels like you just said a lot of stuff that I didn't understand, but that's okay, you're a scientist. But as far as the feeding goes,
Sure.
would the backdoor feeders or the backyard feeders have any, play any role in the blue that a bunting might have?
I would say that there have been correlations found amongst this blue plumage coloration and body condition, and I'm sure that the study suggests that this nourishment from the additional feeding would provide us a better body condition. And so if that correlation is supported, then they may indeed have better blue plumage.
Yeah, so not only more healthy, but maybe the bluer means the more healthy as well.
Sure.
Huh? It's very possible.
Now, as a major focus of my study is to sort of correlate these aspects of individual quality with the blueness of the bird itself.
Yeah, very interesting. And you had so much luck here today with catching birds that you all are going to be busy most of the day. We were kind of hopeful that you would catch some birds for us, but actually you succeeded better than you had hoped.
You guys are a good luck charm or something, huh?
Well, I want to thank you and everybody out here for helping us understand more about the birds that we might be feeding in our own backyards, and to know that maybe we're actually doing them some good.
I like to
That's
think so.
terrific. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, this location Friends Creek is one of 3 of the control sites where this bird feed study is going on. There are also 3 sites where they actually have feeders out, which gives them information on birds that they actually go to those locations. And they're hopeful here at Millikin that next year they'll be able to continue this as a national bird feeding site where the companies that actually make bird seed and bird feed would come to them for information on the studies. With another Illinois story at Friends Creek Park, I'm Mark McDonald. Thanks for watching.
Illinois Stories is brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by the support of viewers like you. Thank you. For a DVD copy of the program you've just seen, send $19.95 to Network Knowledge, P.O. Box 6248, Springfield, Illinois 62708. Be sure to include the program name, subject, and when the program aired. You can also order with your credit card by calling 800-232-3605.